Welcome to a world marked by increasing tensions and geopolitical conflicts. In this video, we will explore the roots, current dynamics, and potential consequences of these confrontations in an increasingly unstable global scenario. To understand the current conflicts between Israel and Hamas, it is essential to delve into the depths of a history marked by controversy and the relentless struggle for territory and identity. Since its founding in 1948, Israel has been the stage for constant tensions with Palestinians who claim the same territory to establish their own state. At the epicenter of this conflict is the Gaza Strip, controlled by the Islamist group Hamas since 2007. In recent years, the region has been the scene of bloody clashes between Palestinian militants and Israeli forces, resulting in an endless cycle of violence and retaliation. The recent rocket attacks launched by Hamas against Israeli cities, followed by Israel's intense military operations in the Gaza Strip, have once again exposed the fragility of peace in the region to the world. With hundreds of lives lost and thousands injured, the current conflict raises profound questions about security and stability in the Middle East. Beyond the humanitarian tragedies unfolding before our eyes, the conflict between Israel and Hamas has implications that reverberate beyond the borders of the region. The international community watches with apprehension as world leaders seek diplomatic solutions to contain the escalation of violence and prevent an even greater tragedy. In the meantime, innocent civilians on both sides continue to pay the highest price, trapped in a cycle of violence and suffering that seems to have no end. However, despite the adversities, there are those who still hold on to hope for a future where peace and coexistence can finally prevail over hatred and destruction. This is the challenge we face together as we seek a lasting solution to one of the oldest and most complex conflicts in modern history. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is a saga of geopolitical tensions, historical rivalries, and aspirations for independence that date back centuries. Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine has sought to consolidate its sovereignty and territorial integrity, while Russia, in turn, has sought to maintain its influence in the region. The critical point of this dispute was the annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014, following the deposition of Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. This move triggered a series of events that resulted in an armed conflict in eastern Ukraine, where pro-Russian separatists fought against Ukrainian government forces. Despite efforts to seek a diplomatic solution, the conflict in Ukraine has remained unresolved, with a high human and economic cost for both sides. Thousands of people have lost their lives, and local communities have been devastated by violence and instability. The ongoing military presence of Russia in the region, coupled with the ongoing political deadlock, has fueled fears of further escalation of the conflict. While the international community seeks ways to resolve the crisis, the lives of Ukrainian civilians continue to be affected by a climate of uncertainty and fear. In the meantime, Ukraine continues to fight for its sovereignty and territorial integrity, resisting external pressure and defending its fundamental rights as an independent nation. However, the future of the region remains uncertain, with many unanswered questions and significant challenges ahead. The dispute between Venezuela and Guyana over territory in the border region has deep roots and significant implications for both nations and for the stability of South America as a whole. For decades, the borders between the two countries have been a source of controversy and tension, especially due to the discovery of valuable natural resources such as oil. The conflict reached a new level with the discovery of oil fields in the disputed area, raising the stakes and making the resolution of the deadlock even more difficult. Venezuela seeks to expand its territory, claiming a significant portion of Guyana's territory, including the Essequibo River. In the meantime, Guyana seeks to protect its sovereignty and exploit the natural resources of its region, driving its economic and social development. However, efforts to resolve the dispute through diplomatic means have been frustrated, with both sides remaining uncompromising in their positions. The tension between Venezuela and Guyana has escalated further with Venezuela's recent call for a referendum, seeking to legitimize its territorial claims. Meanwhile, Guyana has chosen to appeal to the International Court of Justice, ICJ, in search of a legal resolution to the conflict. The international community has been closely monitoring this dispute, concerned about the potential escalation to armed conflict in the region. Any confrontation between Venezuela and Guyana would have serious consequences not only for the two countries involved, but also for regional stability and the balance of power in Latin America. While political leaders seek solutions to resolve this dispute, the lives of ordinary citizens in Venezuela and Guyana are affected by uncertainty and the constant threat of violence. Hope for a peaceful resolution remains, but tensions continue to grow, fueled by competition for natural resources and the pursuit of influence in the region. One of the most dangerous and potentially explosive conflicts in the global geopolitical landscape is the dispute between China and Taiwan. Since the separation in 1949, after the Chinese Civil War, relations between the two sides have been marked by tensions and deep rivalries, with both claiming to be the legitimate government of the entire China. Taiwan, officially known as the Republic of China, maintains its own governance, political system and armed forces, effectively operating as an independent state. However, China regards Taiwan as a rebel province and seeks to reunify the country under the principle of One China. In recent years, tensions between China and Taiwan have escalated, with Beijing intensifying military, diplomatic and economic pressures on the autonomous island. China has conducted military exercises near Taiwan, increased its naval and aerial presence in the region, and sought to diplomatically isolate Taiwan on the international stage. The situation has reached a new level of gravity with recent actions by the United States in support of Taiwan. The US has been providing weapons, diplomatic support, and clear demonstrations of solidarity with Taiwan, openly challenging Beijing's One China policy. The involvement of the United States in the conflict between China and Taiwan represents a dangerous turning point, with the potential to trigger military escalation and provoke an aggressive response from China. A war between China and Taiwan would have catastrophic consequences for the Asia-Pacific region and the world, given the strategic and economic importance of the area. Furthermore, a conflict between China and Taiwan would inevitably drag in other regional and global actors, including Japan, South Korea, and other powers, creating a scenario of large-scale warfare with unpredictable repercussions. As the international community watches with apprehension, world leaders are confronted with the challenge of finding a peaceful and diplomatic solution to the deadlock between China and Taiwan, avoiding at all costs a war that could alter the course of history and shape the future of international relations. The conflicts we have examined so far, Israel and Hamas, Russia and Ukraine, Venezuela and Guyana, and the dispute between China and Taiwan are just a few examples of the many challenges faced in today's global geopolitical landscape. Each of these conflicts has its own dynamics, unique, underlying causes, and potential consequences, but they all share a common denominator: the potential to destabilize entire regions and affect global security. The escalation of these conflicts can have significant impacts in several key areas. Regional security. The escalation of violence in these regions could lead to a humanitarian crisis, mass displacement of civilians, and increased tensions between neighboring countries. This could spiral into conflict, threatening the stability of the entire region. Global economy. Geopolitical conflicts have the potential to disrupt global financial markets, affect the supply of essential resources, and trigger a downturn in investor confidence. This could lead to a global economic slowdown and increase uncertainty in the markets. International diplomacy. Conflicts test the ability of world leaders to resolve differences through peaceful and diplomatic means. The inability to find negotiated solutions can undermine the effectiveness of international institutions and lead to an increase in unilateralism and rivalry between states. Risks of escalated conflict. Each of these conflicts has the potential to become a flashpoint for broader confrontation between major powers. A conflict between China and Taiwan, for example, could drag in the United States and other regional actors, triggering a large-scale war with unpredictable consequences. Faced with these challenges, it is imperative that the international community redoubles its efforts to prevent and resolve conflicts, promote dialogue and cooperation among nations, and strengthen multilateral institutions. Only through a collaborative and committed approach can we address the challenges of our time and build a more peaceful, stable, and prosperous world for future generations. As we explore the various geopolitical conflicts around the world, it becomes clear that we live in times of great uncertainty and challenges. From regional tensions to global rivalries, each conflict carries the weight of national aspirations, geopolitical interests, and struggles for power. However, it's important to remember that behind every headline and territory dispute, there are human lives at stake, displaced families, shattered communities, and interrupted dreams. It is our responsibility as citizens of the world to seek peaceful solutions to these conflicts, to promote justice, mutual understanding, and respect for human rights. We must learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to build a future based on cooperation, solidarity, and a common commitment to peace and global security. Each of us has a role to play in this collective effort, whether it's urging our political leaders to act, promoting dialogue and reconciliation in our own communities, or advocating for the principles of justice and equality at every opportunity. As we move forward, confronting the challenges of our time, we must remember that only through unity and cooperation can we overcome divisions and build a fairer, more peaceful, and prosperous world for all. The road ahead may be difficult and filled with obstacles, but with determination, compassion, and hope, we can shape a better future for generations to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the complex geopolitical landscapes of our world. May our reflections inspire us to act with wisdom, compassion, and resilience in the face of the challenges we encounter. Together, we can make a difference and leave a legacy of peace and progress for future generations. The future is in our hands, and it is our responsibility to shape it with care, vision, and commitment. Thank you.